As some of you may know, Brawl Stars has released their plan for the next update with basically all the information on the ranked changes, the rework, and all of that. And honestly, I'm really happy with a lot of it, but there's a big problem that I see with this update, and it has to do with the gadgets. Now, I'd just like to preface this by saying I'm not complaining, I'm not hating on Supercell for this. I'm going to be completely honest. Everything else in this update is amazing. It's exactly how I would have liked it. It's exactly how it should be. It's a very good update other than this one change. So what they've decided to do is they've decided to rework gadgets completely. So gadgets are now unlimited, but each of them will have a set cooldown that can be between 7 seconds up to 30 seconds. And this timer all depends on how strong the devs think these brawlers are going to be. And so the +1 gadget gear is now also just going to be a reduced timer for that. Will probably be like 2 or 3 seconds off of that timer, or a certain percent depending on the brawler. And this is not just for ranked, this is for the entire game. Honestly, there's been a lot of mixed opinions on this. Personally, I think this is an idea they should experiment with first. Maybe have it as like a modifier in ladder games, sort of like the angel and demon modifiers that were randomly in ladder games. But putting this straight into the game as it is going to have a really big impact and is going to completely change the game instantly. So the main problem I have with this is balancing. So what they're hoping from this, I'm assuming this is it'll make it a lot easier to balance out gadgets. Gadgets should now be like relatively normal. They should help the brawler just a little bit, but they shouldn't be super broken, and a brawler should never rely on their gadget, like how Lily relies on her gadget. And it'll also sort of remove gadget spamming to win a lane at the start of the game. Like with some brawlers like Charlie or Tara, if you're going against like a Surge, you can just spam your gadget in like 2-3 gadgets at the start and win your lane. And on maps like Undermine, it's kind of hard to come back from that. And so this would also sort of get rid of that, which I do like. Now, the problem I have with them putting this in the game right away is how they're going to balance it. I don't really know how they're choosing which brawlers are getting, like what the timer is going to be for each brawlers. Is it just up to the devs? Are they getting like a dedicated team of pro players, which it does not sound like they're doing? But the problem is the devs might not be the best at the game. The pro players that are in this game know a lot more than the devs do. I feel like there are going to be some gadgets that are really weak and some gadgets that are just broken because of this timer. And it's going to completely change the meta. Just instantly, some brawlers are going to be dead. Like, I'll imagine Lily will be dead. I imagine probably like all of like Charlie, Tara, those brawlers are going to be a lot worse. And yeah, considering there's like what, 170 something gadgets in the game, this is going to be very hard to get it right first. Almost impossible, which is why I don't think this should just be thrown into the game right away. If this was going to be put into the game, it should be put as a modifier. It's going to flip the meta right on its back. No one is going to have any clue for the first like week of what the meta is going to be like, of what's viable. There's just so much that can change with this one change to gadgets. Now, I don't really understand why we needed to rework gadgets. Gadgets were added, I think, in 2019, so they've been in the game for, what, almost 6 years now? And there was nothing wrong with gadgets. They have only ever been touched really once, and that was to add the +1 gear, and obviously, like, some brawlers' gadgets were reworked and whatever, but the only time gadgets as a whole were touched was to add the +1 gear. And that was like everyone was fine with that. You know, it's another gear, it gives you an extra gadget. It was a pretty good addition to the game. But I just don't see why, after all of that, they would still do something about it. It's a perfectly fine mechanic. No one complained. Everyone was happy with it. There was never a core problem with the mechanic. It was just fine. Everyone liked it, and we just accepted that. But now they've decided to completely flip that on its back. There are a lot of people that don't like this change. And a lot of the people that don't like this change are the competitive players. Yes, you're adding another sort of piece of depth to the game with now you have to like time, does this brawler have the gadget? Does this brawler not have the gadget ready? But at the end of the day, this was a modifier that was put in ranked. It was sort of viewed as indifferent. It was more or less just a modifier that existed. No one really liked it. No one really disliked it heavily. I think this is going to honestly just screw over the player base, especially on the first season of your new ranked mode. Having a completely different meta like that, it's going to be very hard to adapt. The change itself might be okay, but it's just introducing it that quickly that is going to screw over the entire meta. Going over the rest of the changes, because I do generally like them, they're going to be introducing a pro pass to ranked. Basically, it's sort of replacing the ranked drops and the star drops that you get from progressing in ranked every season. You're going to have a pass. So the entire season is going to last 4 months, and you're going to have a pass, you're going to have a free side and a paid side similar to the Brawl Pass. And I actually do really like this. So you are going to get slightly less ranked drops, it looks like, as compared to if someone hit Masters. But you are going to get like a hypercharged star drop, and a lot more legendary drops as opposed to the old system, as well as the skin upgrades, which I'll go over later. I do think these rewards are better than the old rank rewards. And in general, I do believe this pass is a good thing. My one sort of gripe about this, I think 4 months is a bit long for a season. I know it's really long because they're tying it to esports events, but typically the highest time you'd see for a ranked season in any game is 3 months, because at that point your season is longer than an actual real life season. And at that point, why even call it a season? I don't know. I would like it to maybe be 3 months, but I'm not really against it. I would like it to maybe be 3 months, but I'm not really against it. It gives me more time to hit Pro League, and I'm okay with that. The paid side to this pass is really only going to have gems, coins, and more of the skin upgrades and a few cosmetics. It's honestly, it's worth it for only the gems, and then the rest of the rewards are just kind of there. It is worth it to buy, but it is quite expensive. I think it's 25 USD. I think it's a good addition to the game. It's a good way to monetize the game. If you want the gems, if you want all of the coins, which is just enough for one hypercharge, which is, I think, I like it. I think it's a good addition. It's a good way to monetize the game instead of adding a new Power 12. Props to Supercell for that one. The new skin rarity, it's just, I like it. The upgrade track, so you get the skin and you'll get some upgrades, and then if you buy the paid pass, you'll get the rest of the upgrades for that skin. I do agree. I don't know if you can save your skin upgrades or if it will only apply to that one skin. If you can save your skin upgrades, that would be a really good addition. But honestly, knowing Supercell, they probably won't let you save it, which is annoying because you will never be able to max out a skin as a free-to-play. And they showed the first pro skin for Colt. I mean, it looks pretty nice. The new tier, saw the new tier when they leaked the image. I'm really, really happy about it. Masters is going to have 3 tiers, and each tier is going to be 1,000 elo, which is really good of an addition. Means that Pro League should be at, I believe, 12,000 elo. I do like this. There are not many people in this game that have 12,000 elo. So it should be really, really competitive up at the top. They did mention as well they're going to be making elo easier. Like, you'll gain more elo per win, but it'll also be more punishing above, I think it was legendary. So you'll lose more. I think it'll be closer to like 200 elo, to whereas you'll gain a little bit more. And legendary as well, taking more elo to advance each tier. I do also like that. The really big one for me, and this is one that's kind of been slept on, is the removal of the floor. So at the very bottom of the rank, you can't actually, you can tilt out of legendary now. So you won't have people sitting at bottom of legendary, that were either boosted up there by their friend and just aren't good enough at the game yet, or they're just trolling and they're just picking troll brawlers and they're just leaving the game and throwing your games. That was so annoying, and I'm so glad that they're getting rid of that. Improved matchmaking. I like that Mythic and above now requires Power 11. I'm assuming you can only pick Power 11 at that point, although it wasn't mentioned in the notes. And then just overall improvements to matchmaking and playing with a team, you'll have to be of a closer rank to them, which is it's all good. I mean, no one's complaining about that. It's all really helpful for the player base. Improved matchmaking. I like that Mythic and above now requires power 11. I'm assuming you can only pick power 11 at that point, although it wasn't mentioned in the notes. And then just overall improvements to matchmaking and playing with a team, you'll have to be of a closer rank to them, which is all, it's all good. I mean, no one's complaining about that. It's all really helpful for the player base. And as well, you won't get reset to bronze every 4 months. So at the end of the season, you'll be reset to 6 tiers above where you are. So if you're a pro, you'll be reset to legendary 1. Pretty solid change, I believe. And then the removal of modifiers. No one really liked modifiers. And yeah, that's essentially it. So yeah, honestly, my overall thoughts, great update. Props to Supercell for that. Except for the gadget rework, I'm going to hate that for like probably the first 2 or 3 months of it being in the game. I might get used to it after that. Maybe it'll just go back to being what it was before. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it.